That was an amazing testimonial. And then right after that, there's this whole array of superstars. And I'm sure all of you are very, very hot already on your seat because you saw hot hunks and hot ladies struck the stage. Am I right or not? Huh? Then you'll be thinking, bit like funny, huh? I thought I'm here to listen to some opportunity seminar that will transform my life. How come suddenly got so many models striding the stage? Actually, quite strange, Just now I was sitting there, I was also thinking to myself, am I back to my fashion event? Last time when I'm in my fashion business, all these models, right? They really look like models, don't they? Right, can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell. To me, right, I look at them, right, no difference from the models I used to manage back in the days. No difference. They look just as hot as them. Shall we give our superstar a big round of applause? Man? So amazing, our amazing TRME program. Of course, tonight, y'all can see the title, right? It's Meeting the Legend. Are y'all excited or not? I'm sure your friend has sent you like the invite EDM, the e-card, and maybe before that already make a lot of introduction about the man, the myth, the legend. How many of you have heard about him, heard about his legend, heard about his success stories before coming here? Have y'all? Right? I'm sure, right? Y'all have heard his story, or your friend has made some introduction about him, right? Yes. Y'all want me to tell y'all something funny or not? So of course, right, likewise, I have done the same, right? I also invited my friends, right? I would have done the same introduction, right? So I tell y'all something really funny. So I have this photo I took tonight with our keynote VIP guest speaker, okay? I have this photo taken together with him. So likewise, I also wanted to, influence my friend to come to tonight's event. So when the photo flashed, right, with me and him, immediate response. First time this person see, the legend we're about to meet tonight. An immediate response, right? The immediate response from my guest and friend was like, wow, handsome. Then, when she said handsome, I had a small smirk on my face, I thought, a bit blush. I thought she describing me, Then she said, wow, he looks like, the Asian Brad Pitt. Okay, wow, Asian Brad Pitt. Wow. Then next, say something even more. Say, it's like Chuan Do Tan, You know who is Chuan Do Tan or not? Wow, this like super hung guy. Then I was like, further blush, right? But then I paused for a moment, then I think, but all the reference he making, like a bit not match my demographic, a bit not match. How come you never see something like, like those soda pop boys, right? When you say like Brad Pitt or... Then I realized she wasn't describing me. She was describing the legend. She was describing the person in the photo together with me. So tonight, not only is this man going to bring you a lot of hot energy tonight, like what Bernadette said, right? You're in a very hot location, right? Suntec City, very hot, right? Y'all believe you're going to hot tonight or not? Okay, for our guests from an international hot, in Singapore terms, means you're going to be very prosperous and successful. You want to be prosperous and successful? Right? Then you better get used to the term what. This is a very Singaporean thing. You see one another, you don't know what to say, right? You see a Singaporean for the first time, just look at him and say, what ah? Sure, okay, one. Immediate friends. You see a Singaporean, don't know what to say, right? Just say, what ah? Immediate friend. Agree, right? So this person will not only bring you what energy, okay? In my opinion, he's not just a legend. In my opinion, he's also a mentor and a friend. Extremely humble. Extremely wise, but most importantly, I have to emphasize, he's also extremely handsome. Okay, he's extremely handsome. I have to admit. No, I say one, my guest say one. So I'm just relaying her sentiments. Okay? So I think all his achievements really need no words of introduction. They say, right, an image speaks 1,000 words. But a video needs no further introduction. So let's have a video montage to introduce the man, the myth, the legend of the hour, Mr. Rayne Ho. Video, please.
有共赢才是真正的赢家。谢谢。
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Success Together System Founder, Circle of Excellence 4, Mr. Rayne Ho.
Hello, Singapore. How are you feeling today? Some are fantastic, some are not so fantastic. Anyway, right, happy to be here again. I think this is the last time I speak away almost like 1 year ago, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, because when I was invited about 2 months ago, you know, they told me that we're going to have a private session. So I thought it's like 50 to 100 people. Then later I realized that about a couple of weeks ago, they told me there is more than 1,000 people. So I got really a little bit nervous over here tonight. Anyway, I think...
Yes, I think before we get carried away, Rayne, please have a seat, please have a seat. Oh. It's going to take a while tonight.
Because
so
it's going to be 3 hours, right? Old man cannot stand too long. Huh?
Please take a seat. Our Brad Pitt of Asia. How can I leave you standing?
Okay, talking about that, nobody told me that I'm handsome before. Only Clinton. But there are a lot of people say that I got character. I got a little bit of charisma, right? But nobody told me that I'm handsome before. So just now I was waiting over there and listened to Clinton, you know, trying to introduce me. The more I listen, the more I sweat. You know why? Because he raised the expectation too high, you know. So later it will come out, a lot of people preach out, this one called Brad Pitt. Oh, no.
Hey, but you all agree with me, right? Those agree with me. Give him a big round of applause, come on.
But anyway, someone just mentioned about Warren Buffett, but I think at least, okay, compared to Warren Buffett, maybe I'm slightly a little bit more handsome than him, but not Brad Pitt.
Agree. I think tonight we are really very privileged to have you tonight with us. You know, I understand that the Singapore market and the Singapore leaders actually extend an invitation to you tonight. Despite your busy schedule, you made your availability tonight. So, you know, on behalf of the entire, you know, crew and the team, really thank you for tonight, making time to share your insights and wisdom. Shall we give Rayne a big round of applause?
I'm always happy to come back to Singapore, right? This is where I started the business way back in year 2000. It's almost like 25 years ago, right? So anyway, you know, when I was told that I'm going to share with this group of people, you know, usually in this kind of setting of Q&A or interview, I never prepare any slides. But when I heard there's more than 1,000 people, so I better prepare some slides. And I've been traveling quite a little bit. Most of the time I was spending about a week in Singapore. In fact, tomorrow noon I'm flying back not flying back, seems like flying back anyway, because I spent almost like 2 weeks in China. So we have some events over the weekend in Shanghai, you know, over the weekend. So that's why that, you know, we have, tonight we have a special session together. Yep.
That's right. Yeah, so I think before we dive deep in, I've got a couple of questions prepared for Rayne on behalf of all of you tonight, okay? So let me pick my clipboard over here just to show that I'm prepared. Okay, guys, I'm prepared. But you know what I want to say before I dive deep in? It just feels a bit like deja vu, right, Rayne? Because, you know, a couple of years back, this exact scene happened in my fashion shop. And we were in the lounge in my shop and we had seats just like this. And I recall at that time, you know, he was just shopping away, preparing himself for his convention, and I was like, wow, I caught a big fish. Because this guy, he was like buying everything on demand without looking at the price tag. I'm like, yes. You know? But I think...
I cut a little bit here, because he thought that I'm fish. But he didn't know that he's the fish.
That's right. He's the top fisherman. It's the top fisherman. And
some of you may not understand what I'm trying to say. Never mind.
They'll get it. I'm sure. After tonight's meeting, they'll surely get it. But yeah, it feels like deja vu. And I recall, you know, back in the day when we were in the lounge, I was really, really curious to know how did a successful global entrepreneur like you know, achieve the kind of, I think, all-rounder success. Yeah, because to me, you have to understand the Clinton back then. You know, I was not so polished as what Bernadette said. You know, I was jaded. I was obese. You know, and, you know, I look at him, I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, this is who I want to become. Because not only is he successful all around the world, built a successful global business, but he looks amazing. And his form and his energy was amazing. And I'm like, cannot be we both do business, I end up like this, and then he end up like that. And that triggered my desire and curiosity to really want to know more about and really curious what industry he's in, what exactly he's doing. And tonight I'm going to bring you back to memory lane together with me, right? On all the questions that I myself were curious to ask, right? And I'm going to contextualize it for everyone's behalf tonight. Is that okay? All right? So I think, you know, yeah, I'm sure many people here tonight know you as the global leader, the industry legend. Yeah, and of course, I know you more intimately as my mentor, my big brother. But I think a lot of our new guests here tonight, probably meeting Rayne for the first time, may not know exactly how it all began. Okay, I think what really inspired me is that prior to our opportunity platform, he already chose a path that was less traveled by. Okay, he was already a very successful financial planner in Singapore market, and I was curious already, like because he was very well educated, he graduated from a very good school as well, and then I was like, oh, what made you, you know, leap into entrepreneurship? Because typically people that graduate from NUS will choose a corporate career, and then yeah, eventually from financial advisory, moving on to our opportunity platform and becoming a legend in our industry. So I think over to you. I think for our new guest's sake, you have to share your why.
Yeah, just have a quick check over here. How many of you are not Singaporeans? Quite a lot of, because in Singapore, I need to ask this question because a lot of foreigners, right? Anyway, I think for many of you, I've seen roughly that, you know, just now I take a look, I think I've seen a lot of new faces. How many of you actually seen me for the first time? Wow, there's a lot of new friends today. I believe that most of you have started to use the products already, right? Any one of you haven't tried our product before? Don't worry, you can put up your hands because there's not hard selling over here. Tonight is just purely, you know, we just have a very casual talk together, right? So anyway, I think that most of you have experienced our products already. For some of you, probably that first time you came over here. I'm not sure why you are invited over here in this, you know, this event. Anyway, when the question that Clinton asked about, you know, I started basically I got two careers, right? The first career was actually I was in financial planning, straight after I graduated from school. Of course, the second career, or rather the business, is in New Skin. So I've been building this for the last 25 years. Do I look that old? Because lucky that I started when I was young, right? So in fact, you know, if you want to hear a little bit of my stories, because today I find that if without photos, it's difficult for me to show you what I went through. Do you want to see my transformation stories? Only 30% like it only. You know, the people on the stage are always very kanchong, you know. It's always very nervous, so they need encouragement, right? So the more applause, the more response they will have, the more I'll be sharing. Anyway, right, before we touch on the business, I would say that the main benefits I get over the last 25 years, of course, I started the business because, you know, I wanted to make money. I think same for many of you, right? You want to build a career, you want to build a business. But I think over the last 25 years, I think extra benefits I get from this business is how I transform. Yeah, I think not so bad, right? I've seen a lot of young people over here, right? If you are young people today, if you are not looking for opportunity to make money, something is very wrong. Because you know, as a young startup, right, most of the time we realize we don't have money, right? You want to make more money. So same, you know, when I first started way back when I was 28 years old, right? I started the business You know, when you see way back in 2000, you know, when I started the business, you realize that I started using New Skin products. For many of you do not know what is New Skin all about, right? New Skin stands for nutrition for skin. And it started with only skincare products. So just now you've seen a lot of testimonials, right? The parade, whereby you realize that our best-selling product today is our TME90, which is our weight management, right? But in those days, you realize that I don't have this. Unfortunately, we don't have any health supplement. We don't have any nutritional product. We only have skincare products. So guess what? So if I started a business with then, right, I can only start with the skincare products. So after I started the business, I used the product. Can you see my photo? So I got triggered, you know, it's a reaction, right? How many of you think that if you started a business, you think that, you know, business is good, right? The products you think is good, and you started using the product and they got a reaction, you have a negative impact on you, will you still continue doing the business? So that's why I'm special, right? Yeah, you know. So especially for many, many of years since I'm young, you know, I don't have a good complexion to start with. So in fact, when I first started this business, a lot of people, people who knows me like many, many years ago, right? Many, many years, they think that I must be crazy to start this business because it's going to be a big obstacle for me, right? Because if you want to try to promote skincare products, of course you engage beautiful ladies, right? Just say, look at a lot of shopping centers, you know, all this, they usually engage very young, pretty girls to promote their skincare brand. Yes or no? But a man like me, right? Already my complexion was not good. And I so excited starting on this journey, using the product, immediately I got rejected. Right? So do you think that it's easy? Never easy, lah. Right? So can you see my transformation over the years? So I find that over the last 25 years, I would say that even though if I don't make a single cent, meaning that if I don't make any money in this platform, I think I'm happy. At least I look younger, right? Yeah, because I'm 50 plus today, right? This year. So literally you realize that, yeah, amazing. So if you look at my transformation over, of course, until 2021, after that I'm not so active anymore. Lah. Usually I only appear like maybe some of the big events. So, well, many people, just now when Clinton asking me, I only have 2 businesses in my life. The first business was I was in insurance. So after I graduated from school, I chose a very different path because a lot of people will choose employment, right? How many of you actually are employees or you were employees before? I suppose so in Singapore because I think Singapore is almost like fully employed. Am I right? And in Singapore, you realize that it's a pretty good job offer. You know, a lot of people's incomes are very high based on employment. So, but I'm a little bit weird. Again, that I never thought of going to employment at all. You know, even before I graduated from school, you know, I never submit any, what do you call it?
Resume.
Resume. Okay, sorry.
Don't even know the name.
Yeah, I really don't know. No. You know, I really don't know because after I graduated, I take the photo, right? What do you call it?
Graduation.
Basically, it's
graduation
just
cap, yeah.
graduate, take the photo to show to the parents, okay, I make it. Right? Then the degree, don't know where's the degree. Until today, I cannot find because I know that I'm not going to use the degree anyway. Right? So, in fact, you realize that even before I graduated from school, you know, I know very well that I want to go into business. I want to be an entrepreneur. And being in Singapore environment, many of you know that the cost is very high. Naturally, I was born in Malaysia, right? I don't have much network over here. Being a startup, like 24 and 25 years old, you know, it's very difficult for me to start any business. No network, no capital. So I get to know some of my seniors in the school that built the insurance business, you know, earlier than me. They were seniors. They were like 5 or 6 years older than me. So during the school, when they shared with me about the career, I was like, beautiful career, because beautiful business, because it doesn't require any capital outlay. I don't have to invest money, right? I still remember my boss told me that, right, the sky is the limit. But he forgot to tell me that time is limited. Later, I'm telling you the story, right? So, but of course, I'm very blessed because I always believe that I want to build a business. But out of a lot of people who think that probably they started with insurance career or financial planning, right? They build it as a career. But for me, I was so into about a business model, being a high leverage, and of course, very low capital. So that's where I started, right? So I was in the business for almost like, how many years? About coming to 4 years, right? About 4 to 5 years, I can't remember exactly. Very focused on the business. But of course, as I build a business, I get to know more about the industry. I get a little bit uncomfortable about my future. Why? Literally, that I think any one of you have got any friends that do insurance? You should have. I think there are quite a lot of insurance and financial planners in Singapore. Don't worry. Any one of you haven't bought insurance? Put up your hands. Don't worry, I'm not selling insurance anymore. You see, literally, it's almost like fully insured in Singapore. Very well educated, very well protected. So I was in the industry for about 4 to 5 years, and I realized that being a business, I feel that there's a lot of limitation. A lot of limitation being that, I can only build in Singapore. In year 2000, literally that, Singapore has got about 4 million population. I think if I'm not wrong, today Singapore has got about 6 million, I think, 6+ million. So we have grown like 50% over the last 25 years. Right? But again, around 4 million to 6 million, if you compare to the global population, is very small. Right? So being an insurance practitioner in a Singapore market, literally that I can't even build my business in Malaysia. Right? I'm still a Malaysian today. I was born in Malaysia. I'm just a Singapore PR. So Malaysia has got about 30 million population, but I can't build my business in Malaysia. So I see a lot of limitation in terms of where I can scale my business outwards, outside of Singapore. Right, that's one thing. The second thing, because the industry are getting more regulated, right? So I approached the whole business in a very different angle. Many people got stuck into that, what are the products and services they're selling. But I believe in one thing I hope that you can take away today, right? Which I think that it shifted my paradigm a lot. I did a lot of soul searching, reflection on myself, as I built my career. So many times I realized asking myself, right? Asking that, in today's, there are so many types of people deriving income from different sources, or employment, self-employed, a business owner. For some of you are building business, right? But I realized that in this world, there are only 2 types of people. Not Chinese and English, not Chinese and Indians, because even though the Chinese and Indians has got the largest population, right? So whatever products and services you offer, right? Whichly you realize in this world, there are only 2 types of people, right? I'll share with you. You see whether you agree or not, right? The first group of people is called builders, right? Builders, many times you realize that they make money, right? Another group of people on the other end of the spectrum is called consumers. Consumers? Hello? Huh? You're not listening, huh? Huh? Consumer? Consumers spend money, right? Builders make money, right? But unfortunately, you realize that over a long period of time, right, some builders that build in a certain industry is a sunset industry. So what happened as a builder that you are building a business in a sunset industry? What will happen? I think your max is not very good. I know Singapore is very high educated, right? So richly, if you are building your business in a sunset industry, the rate of you achieving success or profits is slower, right? So, our productive years probably about 30, 40 years after you straight from school. So I was not so fixated about which industry. Of course, it must be legal, right? It must be legal. It must be of, can help people. So as I observe, I realized that I'm a builder, right? Being in the industry, in the financial industry, first, being the product itself is very regulated. So before I left, I started to ask myself, right? If you are trying to promote very regulated products, it's going to be very tough for you to move to consumers. Am I right? Yes or no? Right? Because financial products, being insurance, being bank deposits, are very regulated by the government, whichever government is it. Because it actually deals with people, you are taking deposit money from the public. Am I right? So 25 years ago, even then, I realized that there are a lot of changes in the industry that makes me very uncomfortable, if I'm going to continue to build a business for the next 10 and 20 years. So that's how I started to have a change of my heart. Right? Another thing that I realized that as I was more experienced in the business, I realized that, insurance products are a very good financial product for hedging, for protection, right? Not so much for investment. But most of the time, you realize that actually I can say Even though I left the industry, but I would say that every one of you, every family must have insurance policy for protection. Right? But unfortunately, in the eye of consumer, because we are builders are making money. Consumers are spending money. So as a builder, we want to know that where the consumers want to spend money in, right? Yes or no? Right. So when the consumers make money, right? Pay rise, make money from investment. And many times you realize that they have the lowest priorities to buy insurance policies. Because the fact that the consumer behavior, right? They think that when they make money, what they think of? We have some of the young startup here, right? Many of them start to think of that. I want to buy property. Yeah? Especially you have boyfriends, you have girlfriends, you are trying to get married, right? So you start to think, okay, pay rise, you realize that we have extra income, and we're going to spend on or invest on property. Am I right? Right? Or some of the ladies, right? Probably that you make some income, you think, oh, I want to buy some branded products. But I think the young people today, you realize that they don't pursue branded products so much, right? But then they want to have a lot of experience. So they probably want to go for travel experiences. Yes or no? But many times you realize that when people are getting more money, right? They don't spend the money over here. You know, so in the builder's perspective, I realize there's lugi. Lugi lah. Right? Some of you don't understand because I'm from Malaysia lah. Lugi means there's loss lah. Right? And most of the time you realize that they spend on products or services, right? There's a saying that vanity always sells. Right? They spend money on this kind of product. But that does not belong to my category. That the richest person in the world, the richest person in Singapore, right? You cannot find any rich people, you realize that, right? They buy insurance policy or new policies every day. New policy every day. By right, you realize that you can afford, right? You buy every day, right? Or you buy every month. You buy every year. So my experience over there, you realize that if I have good clients that continue to buy from me, new policy for 3 and 5 years is pretty good customers already. So all these limitations, make me started to think as an entrepreneur. Because in any business that you cannot scale, right? Scale means that you can expand, right? It's really, there's a limitation in terms of our revenue. Am I right? Right, so that is based on that foundation, the fundamentals, I started to change my heart and thinking that, what is the possibility, right? So that's why that, I get myself exposed into a lot of training, right? I think in the age of 27. So I was asking myself, where will I be for the next 10 and 20 years? Sometimes I think I'm too matured for 27 years old back then. Right? That's why I actually look older. This was when I was 27 years old. Yeah. So sometimes, it was me. It was during one of the training I attended in insurance. Right, that was me, 27 years old. Huh? Yeah. Thanks to age lock.
I told you all, right? Brad Pitt of Asia, right?
Stop the Brad Pitt. Because otherwise the focus will be on Brad Pitt, right? The focus should be on me, not Brad Pitt. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, I did a lot of soul searching. Literally, I was not that motivated for almost like 1 year. That I was literally that, of course I do some insurance sales, but, I'm a person whereby I'm very motivated by vision. Right? But most people realize that they are motivated by money. Some people ask me, what's the difference motivated by money and vision? There is a difference. Right? There's a difference. If you are motivated by vision, you tend to think a little bit long term. You probably think that whatever action you take or decision you take today, right, where will you be for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road? But if you're just motivated by money, right, what will you do? Whichever can give you money today, you just do. Right? You just do. So I become very uncomfortable. Where will I be for the next 5 and 10 and 20 years down the road? And I was like, at the crossroad, I don't know what to do. So the best answer was learning. So I attended a lot of seminars for almost 1 year. If I could recall, I cannot calculate totally, I cannot remember, right? But I think at least at the moment of time, but that was when back is like 1999, I spent at least about $50,000 for 1 year, right? Attending also with Anthony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, right? All those, the names, so-called the gurus, right? I attended almost all of them. Every month, literally, I'm attending a lot of all this personal development. And sometimes I see many familiar faces. It's the same kind of people that, over again, they attend. It's like, they call it seminar junkies or what, They just keep on attending and attending. You realize that there's no transformation, right? It's like very shook to attend, put themselves in a very positive environment, rah. But for me, it's no, I'm very clear because I have no direction. I don't know where I'm going. So I'm trying to search for a direction. So I attended, of course, all these are very good, because especially for a young starter like me, 27 years old, being exposed to all this at a very young age, right, actually helped to give me a lot of positive mindset. But again, they never tell me what to do. Right? They never tell me what to do. Some of them are motivational. Some of them you realize it's too cheap for me. I attended, and Robert Kiyosaki just came to Singapore, right? For those of you who are the fans of Robert. No, I actually attended Robert Kiyosaki's seminar in 1999 in Ritz-Carlton. Right? I didn't even know, I still remember at the point of time, $2,500, 1999. Until today, I don't know what he's talking about. Because too young for me to understand a lot of concepts, because I'm had no experience in life. Right? I still remember his seminar's name is called Infrastructure Investment. It's investing. What the hell is that? Infrastructure investing. But of course, get exposed to him, at least. I think I'm thankful because a lot of financial intelligence I derive most of the time, not from the seminar itself, but I derive from the books. I'm not sure whether any one of you read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad before. Right? If you haven't read this book, right? Anyway, I've done commission. Right? I can, I think that you should read this, right? Whichever career, profession you are in, because it's talking about financial intelligence. Because I've seen so many people, they're working so hard for like 20, 30 years, but they have no financial intelligence, right? They don't know how to plan their wealth. So at the end, you realize that when you're 50 and 60, when you're less productive, no more energy, right? So you realize it's difficult for you to make choices. So I'm thankful, right? I get exposed to this book, and I read almost all his book. He got one banned book, right, before Rich Dad Poor Dad called If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School. Obviously, it's banned now. Right? Because if this is introduced to all the countries, then it's going to go a reset of our traditional educational system. Literally, are telling that the current education system doesn't work. Right? You're trying to make an overhaul, reset thing. Hey, this will cause social instability, So we are talking about 1996. 1996. So it was banned, I think recently released already. I don't know when it was released. But now I checked, I realized that you can still get the books online. Anyway, right, so that was like restricted books. But the second book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, was pretty good, right, in terms of the concept. For those of you who have read, right, we can do a refresher course. So something that hits me, there are a lot of information inside, but literally something hits me very well, a lot. They talk about the employees, the 4 quadrant, right? Remember? The ESBI? Yes or no? If you, by learning, if you don't know how to apply it, literally you realize you're not learning at all. Right? The key thing about, wisdom, or key thing is about, a lot of knowledge is for application. It's not that, I know already. So what? Right? When everybody knows, you realize the key thing that do you apply it into your life. Right? So I think the concept that I get from ESBI, employment, self-employed, right, business owners, and investor, 4 category of people. So literally, today in the society, I would say these are the key builders or contributors in our society, whether in Singapore, in Malaysia, in every part of the world, right? And almost like 80 and 90% of people are employees. Everybody just close their eyes after they study, graduate from school, they look for a job. This is the norm, but nobody challenge why. Right? So I'm a little bit weird. So why I say that I'm inspired, right? I'm inspired by this book, right? I'm starting to ask myself, where will I be for the next 5 and 10 years, right? Now, whatever decision I make today is going to affect what I'm going to be for the next 5 and 10 years. So I started to write. I studied economics. I used to be major in economics. So, economics like to draw the graph, right? X, Y axis, X axis, So there are two important assets in our life, which a lot of people neglected, right? I'm a very generous person, but I'm very calculative towards these two, some of the very important, assets, right, in your life, particularly time, right? Everybody take time for granted because it's free. But whatever time, how much time you invest in certain things that you do, you will become expert. You agree? Right? I think 80% or 90% of people being employment without knowing that where the end outcome will be. Don't you think it's so risky? But many times people say that, no, you know, most of the time parents will tell their kids, like, go find a job, right? Because job gives you security. Do job really give you security? Right? If the boss asks you to go, you have to go. Right? Literally, you realize that when you're a young startup, okay, by the time you're 40, that's why there's this word called downsize at 40. Heard before? Retrenchment setting in, young people replacing you, right? Because they're cheaper. So I was asking myself, right, if I chose the employment path, what will happen to me? I believe that I can commit my time, right? I become very skillful. I become very good. My income will grow. But whatever I do, by the time I'm asked to go, my income will drop back to zero. So Robert mentioned about, you know, being employment and self-employed, you make active income. I think employment is not so scary. The scary part of second category of people, which I used to be, the self-employed. So when I started my insurance career, I thought it was a good business, everything depending on myself, right? If I'm capable, my customer like me, I will have good business. Literally, all self-employed people, if they want to do well, they need to be very skillful. Same for surgeon, doctors, lawyers. Top lawyers makes a lot of money, right? Top surgeon makes a lot of money, but they make active income. Meaning that one day, if the surgeon is very skillful in operation, but one day the hand cannot chop, right? The hand chop one is the hand that operate one, not the other one. Then you cannot perform anymore. So we have seen a lot of talented people in a lot of professionals, whether it's famous singers, right? Doctors, top lawyers, they make a lot of, like even sports superstar. But their lifespan is very short. Literally, you realize that the professional life, probably the 10 and 15 years, when they get too old, they cannot continue to make money, right? So when I look into myself, right, I was asking myself, can I continue to do this for the next, by the time when I'm 50, 60 years old? I tell myself that it's difficult, right? That's why if you look at self-employed curve, literally that whatever, how good, how stop income, the day you stop, the income stop. Pretty scary. But sometimes being a self-employed, we are very prideful. You know why it's prideful? Because a lot of times we need to cycle ourselves, we need to be the best, right? In order you realize that when you are the best, right, people buy your service, people go to you. Yes or no? But the problem is you only have 24 hours. The better you are, right, the best you are not replaceable, you are not duplicable. So this is pretty scary. But at the same time, you realize that many of self-employed, they are still very proud of whatever they are doing. Right? I'm not trying to tee down or bring down any industry. All these are basically all my own analysis when I first started to make a new decision. The third group of people, business owners. Right? This is a group of people that I respected a lot because these are the group of entrepreneurs. They are willing to take risks by investing money. And many times you realize that they don't have money to start with. They don't have capital. They need to borrow or leverage from the bank, hoping that the business will take off and make money and pay back the bank. And many of the startups, they don't have a chance to borrow money from the bank. What they do? It's called F&F, Family and Friends Fund. Yeah, many startups, you realize that they borrow from their friends or mother, right? Or parents to start with, right? Many of such. But as you look at most of the business today, right? How many of the business can last more than 30 years? I was 27. So I'm asking myself, by the time I'm 60 years old, do I still want to experience the life of like, pum, 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 pum? I don't think they have such a strong heart, right, to stomach the kind of risk. But many of the businessmen or entrepreneurs, so-called, they love to be labeled as businessmen. Because like businessmen, very sad. Right, when I met younger Clinton, he also feel the same thing. SMU graduate, right? Intern in JP Morgan, offer a job straight after graduated, right? Rejected, steady. There are a lot of people, you realize that this is rejected, right? Want to start a business because, businessmen like very sad like that. But behind you realize there's a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of work, right? So when I look at this, I realize that this is not something that I want to go through just for the sake that I want the face, right? I want to be known as a businessman. I don't want to serve the kind of ego. I think it's better to be practical. What is the end outcome that we want? Am I right? But nobody tells us that. Right? We see something, you realize it seems like a trend, but everybody's going after it, right? I think they can make money. But trend always go away. So if we are stuck with a lot of huge investment, when trend goes away, what happened? You got stuck. So I've seen so many of this, recently I just see a lot of F&B, right, groups there. Like in Singapore context, you realize that the cost is getting higher and higher. Rental is high, right? It's not because you're not skillful. It's not that you're not good managing the business, but unfortunately you realize the cost is just too high. But can you sustain over a period of like 30 or 40 years? Not easy. So I respect, right, if you are business owners today, right, you are able to build a successful business over time. These are not normal people. These are Superman. Right, special. Superman wear the underwear outside one. That's why they are special, right? Literally, the evil is not so duplicable. So I'm asking myself, the younger me of myself that's 27 years old, I believe that sometimes you got luck, right? You hit it right, probably you can make millions. But if you got big ambitions, you make the money, you throw in again, invest, you want to play bigger games. Sometimes some business, right? You open a shop, you make money. You open 3 shops, you lose money. I don't know whether you have any businessmen over here. Because 1 shop make money, then you start to have image. If 3 shops, I make more money. If 5 shops, I make more money. But when you scale your business, your operation, you realize that all the costs went up. Yes or no? But that is, you think that you can bring in more revenue, but things change. External environment changes. Today, Donald Trump is so unpredictable. Who knows? Right? Natural disaster today, tsunami, earthquake, right? All of a sudden, you realize that whatever you invest, you realize that suddenly this kind of things happen and everything being wiped out. It's so scary. So as I understand about Robert, right, when I read the book, something that fascinated me is about passive income. But the problem is that he never tell me how to build passive income. He talk about building business, right? But in the book, a lot of people neglected, which I saw the opportunity, right? He mentioned that there are 3 business systems. For those of you who read his book before, you can go back for review. Right? He mentioned about 3 business systems or 3 business models. The first one is incorporation. In Singapore, we call it, you set up a private limited company, right? You carry your products and services, you started to build your business. And this kind of setup, incorporation, you realize that many times the chances of them become successful is very low. Right? You go and check in registry, the ROC, literally that less than 1% of companies will do well for the first 10 years in the business. And 99% of the business will fail out of just 1%. You know what's the odds? The odds is very low, right? That's first group of people, which I think that I don't want to start at the risk. The second group of business model is franchise. Heard about franchise? Okay, if you understand about history of franchise, right? This business model has been around a longer period because we've seen some success stories like McDonald's, right? 7-Eleven, there's what they call it, KFC, Starbucks. This is our franchise system, right? We know that in the early days, this business model was actually many people term as scam. Starting from US, because they take money from people, right? And they tell you that, you buy my franchise, I give you a system to work. But many of the time, they take the money and they just jabut, just run away. But again, there are some hugely successful ones. There's a lot of people, the young aspiring entrepreneurs, they also wanted to build their own business. They think they're buying into a franchise, right? It could be a very good way for you to build your wealth. But most of the time, the flaws is, right? Successful franchise tend to be very expensive. So 25 years ago, when I tried to find out about buying a McDonald's franchise, that's about $1 million US. I don't make money, but where can I get the $1 million? But the worst thing is that famous and successful established brand, they don't give for ordinary people like me. So the rich gets bigger, right? The richer. They'll go to any country, they source for those people, entrepreneurs, they're really very successful, they give them the kind of franchise, and they become richer. Normal people like us, we don't get access. But you buy a very cheap franchise, most of the time they are not established. It's a trying your luck, right? So I find that, the franchise system, it seems like it's not easy. So surprisingly, he mentioned about network marketing as a third business system. So if you read the book before, you go back and recheck, So this is something that I saw and I was like, how come? I have a big question mark, right? Why is it called that? Network marketing is one of the third models, the business model. Then of course the history is very short. It's about 60 years old, right? There are more bad names in the industry than the good names. But he mentioned about the pros and cons. He said being a network marketing business, right? If the company is good and they have a good training system, right? They are actually able to build a long-term sustainable business, and the risk is very low. That means the financial outlay is very low. I'm asking myself because at the point of time I don't have a lot of money, so I feel that this could be something that I can do. But again, right? I was asking myself why I want to do this. I show you my photo, right? When I first started, I got challenged with the product that I'm using. There's a lot of more challenges and problems with any time that we make a new decision. Am I right? Right. So what fascinated me about the business model is the potential of exponential growth. So whole logic, right? Sorry, for some of you who are not so logical, I speak a little bit more logic today because it's meant to be business. Right? Business, we talk about some decision making, right? Not just about rah-rah, right, motivation. We need to be clear where will we be. So point of time when I look at this network marketing business, this business model, where are the possibility, where it will bring me to, right? Then I understand about exponential growth, I understand about leverage income, right? I think leverage is something that every one of us are pretty familiar. So this is how I got into the business. Well, it's not so simple. I started the business, right? I chose to partner with New Skin. I work very hard because I see the vision. On the first day, I committed the office. I have a training center. I'm paying like about 7,000 per month, Singapore dollars, right? Just beside is a United House. It's just beside last time we called Lee Meridian Hotel behind. I started, work very hard. First month, my income is $220. So these olden days, now you realize that for those of you who are building New Skin right now today, right, the commission is direct credited to your bank account, right? In those days, right, Brett Ronnie, our founder, need to sign the check. $220. You were expecting that you want to make a lot of money, right? After hard work for 1 month, you get $220. What will you feel? I know some of you, right, started New Skin. How many of you that have got higher income than me when you started New Skin first month? Put up your hands lah. Some of you got like 50 times more than me, 100 times more than me, one I know. Right? So that's why that sometimes, right, you choose at the right time. You're smarter than me. Literally, $220. And this check, I never banking. Right? I never banking. When I took out these photos, I realized that I found a fault. Interesting, because I joined the business in December 2000. How can a check be January 2020? Remember, that, so some of you are old enough like me, young generation. I think the time they were talking about millennium bug. Remember the year YK 2020, right? After I take out this one, then I realized, no, because this check was never banking. Too small, right? I want to do it as like a memory. For about $220, right? My second month check was $500. It's also not enough for me to pay for my rental. The third month was $1,200, right? For most people, if they start on a journey, I think that 3 months they will be gone. So the difference, right? The difference between a lot of normal people is because they do not understand the power of exponential growth. They only look at the real number, absolute amount of money they can get this month. This is why I find vision is so important, because I know how the business model works. On the 4th month, by the way, for those of you who become brand rep in 1 week or 1 month, this is the current complaint. In those days, I need 3 months to become a brand rep. So 4th month, I made 20 over thousand. So finally, it's like, the rest is history. So of course, I've been working very hard. That was mine, right? I'm just showing you this thing. It's not to show off, right, how much I make. I don't mean to do this. I would say that sitting over here, right? I'm just a true testimonials of how the business works, right? Because no matter how good the plan, if you are not working on the plan wouldn't work. Are you getting me? But for those of the people who venture into the plan, are you clear that where will you be? If you're not clear, you will tend to give up. You will not be focused. So I was just very focused. I know that, there's one analogy that I always share with people. It's like, you want to go to the destination, right? But you go through a very black, very dark tunnels. Sometimes you realize as you drive through the dark tunnels, what happens? You have doubt. Correct? You'll be thinking that when I can arrive, when, how come still not arrived yet? I think better that I go stand better. Maybe it's nearer. It's like never ending. But do you have the faith to believe that, right, when you go through this dark tunnel, you will see the light? The confidence come in, you know that the eventuality, you will come. But if you do not believe it, you realize that you will just pull back. So this is some of the analogy. So for me, I know that for sure you will hit that destination. What I need to do is that, vroom, vroom, fast speed. Because the faster you move, the earlier, the faster you reach the destination. So I'm just a proof and testimony that why the compensation plan, the rewards program, it works. And I always believe that, right, I will not be the only one. And there will be people, because I'm not the first one who joined New Skin. I joined New Skin when New Skin is 17 years old already. Right? So by right, a lot of the myth, people thinking that the people only join earlier, they can make a lot of money. That is not true. If it's so easy, everybody make it already. Right? You're going to put in the effort. So that is where I'm saying that, right, that the plan works. But of course, if you want to sum it up, right, for the question, I took like how many more than 30 minutes in answering this question. Huh? But anyway, I think it's so important because everything starts from why. Correct? The only two things I want to share with you about regarding this business model. The first thing is about leverage. Whatever you are doing right now, can you leverage? If you cannot leverage, it's based on your own time value. It's difficult to scale. It's very difficult to scale. Right? Many people don't understand about leverage. Richly, you realize that, how many of you buy property? So few men, Singaporeans, a lot of people buy property, right? How many of you put down 100% cash to buy property? Few lah. There are some. Right? I know some of my leaders put full cash on. Right? But most of people, when we buy property, we take loans. So when you take loans, you are on leverage. Correct? You probably put down payment of 20%, but you get to buy 100% value of the property. Why do you dare to buy the property? You're just placing 20% of the deposit. Why are you so confident? Because you think that you have the ability to make the money, right? What happens if you lose your job? Possible, what? What happens if your business fail? Possible, what? Right? But the reason why you buy the property, you think that probably, I buy it because I have no choice. I need to have a place to stay. Correct? So I borrow from a bank. So the higher the gearing, because that in any company, we talk about the profitability of a company or the stability of the company in terms of the leverage ratio. There's a called leverage ratio. The higher the leverage ratio, for those of you in financial, probably understand what I'm saying. Huh? The higher the leverage ratio, the more risky is the company in terms of their health. Most of the time, I will say why this business model works. Very simple. There's science behind it because it's very high leverage. But high leverage always comes with high risk. Correct? If you want to buy one property, you buy 10 properties, means what? You're on an even higher leverage, right? The business risk is very high. This is probably the only business model or the only financial instrument that provides high leverage with virtually no risk. So I understand it. I understand this thing very well on the first day I started the business. So I can go through all the resistance, the rejection, the objection, because I know that actually this is a very underrated, if you want to talk about investment, this is very underrated. So that's where I'm coming from. So if you understand about leverage, right, then you understand that why exponential concept work, compounding works. The next one you need to understand is about asset value, asset income. Why is it important? We have many different sources of income. Some of the income you realize is derived from a professional services and job. This is called active income. Active income is very scary. Right? We talk about passive income, right? Passive income, not easy, honestly. You buy property, you collect rental, that's called passive income. What happens, you cannot rent out, that means you don't passive income. And how many property you can buy, right? It's a lot of risk. But today, in New Skin, you can build a lot of BR, the brand rep. So if you understand about it, instead of thinking about multi-level, right, of payment structure, literally you realize that you're building assets. And each asset, if they are able to build successfully, it's like a franchise system. You get a royalty bonus for life. And the best beautiful part about this property is that you don't have to maintain. Because the business owner maintain very well every month. For some of you who are already building the business, you understand what I'm saying. So if you really understand about the whole business model, why it makes sense. Right? It makes sense. In business, traditional business, most of the time, it's difficult. Why? Because being a boss, you are always the most accountable one. Correct? How about employees? Why I say that, the traditional business model is very, very difficult. Because there are two important partners. One is the boss, one is the employees. And these people, is very difficult to live in harmony. You know why? Because the employer and boss are always thinking that, right? You hope that the employees work longer hours and get lesser pay. How many of you doing business one? I always think you want to squeeze employees, hoping that, right? You don't pay them so much, but they can be like robot, they work like 24 hours better. How about the employees? What the employees are thinking? The employees are thinking that, wow, best is that no need to go to work. Every month got money. Come on, very simple, right? If you put this as a family, right? A corporate is a family, right? If two important parties in the same room, right? This is very imbalanced relationship. Because that we don't have a win-win mentality. That means that for one to win, another one have to lose. No choice, because the boss will say that I'm bearing all the risk. I put in all the financial capital. Of course, I need to take a big chunk. That's why it's difficult for any traditional business to keep talent. Sometimes you need to use a lot of kamcheng, a lot of relationship to try to retain a talent. Because too talented, they go at the opposite. They go to open another one, become your competitors. So we are always in this, as long as you are in this business model, you always fall into this trap. You have no choice. But when I understand about this business model, every day I'm thinking that, who can I help? Who can I help to grow their own business? Right? Probably that I spend about 3 to 6 months, I can build an independent property. So as good as your property developer. I don't know whether you see in this angle. So that's exactly what I said it. So if you can understand, to sum it up, the first question is very long. Right? Because I hope that I don't have a chance to talk to many of you, right? Probably I do this about once a year. I just want to get to understand that it's nothing to do with MLM. But you need to understand about what is leverage. Are you building asset when you are actively spending your hours? If you are building assets, fine, right? You realize that as you grow older, you have passive income, you have renewable income. Yeah. So this is the first question that you asked, but I think I take about more than 30 minutes, because that is a fundamental. If you don't get this right, right, you just think that, oh, people here are just selling skincare products. Come on, how can a man like me selling skincare products? Right? As you see the testimonies of people who are on TME early on, you realize that they slim down. You may be thinking, oh, these people are selling weight management products. Yeah, they're selling slimming products. Yeah, on appearance, you realize that it's always like that. Just like in property, right? You see people are construction workers, they're also in property business. They are in the property development phase, right? Construction workers contribute to the whole process. Am I right? So any startup, you realize that probably you need to be humble to do some of the basic fundamentals, but you want to see the end outcome. What is the intrinsic value? Where will you be for the next 3 to 5 years when this thing matured? Are you getting me right now? Right? One word, right, you can part with you is that there's one statement that I always say, right? Anything they will do, you want to look into the possibility. Remember I showed you the graph early on? Whatever you do right now, right? Financial freedom or whichever, what is the possibility? If there is possibility, the next thing what you do is that you work on the probability. Cheap. Never mind, you write it down. Write it down first, right? You need to find a platform that offer you the possibility to exit, right? To have freedom, to retire earlier, like to receive passive income, right? The possibility. After you find a platform or vehicle that offer the possibility, the next thing what you need to do is to work on the probability. How do you make it even higher percentage to become successful? And that is also one of the reasons why that I make this very clear. That is the reason why that I'm so fast in the business. So these are all very important concepts, right? If you are here to understand about the business concept and business model. Any other questions you are? Every time you prepare a lot of questions, at the end you realize that one question I cover everything already.
Let's really give Rayne a big round of applause, please. Really amazing. It brings back so many memories because as he was sharing all these things, it just jolted me back when I first listened to him, and I'm still excited. I cannot sit down anymore. I don't know about you guys. But I think really thank you for sharing your why, your journey. I think it gives us a lot of clarity for yourself. And I believe someone, as we explore the exponential opportunity, the exponential effect, they want to explore this industry. They will always think, well, network marketing seems great. It gives this outcome. But what company should we align with? And I think you mentioned New Skin, but there are many companies in the industry, right? So I think the people here will be curious, like, why did you choose, New Skin among so many to be your partner? And what about the brand? What about the vision that made you commit to the company as your partner?
Okay, remember that I shared, right, regarding that when I first started, New Skin only offers skincare products, correct? If it's just by the appearance of the product, I shouldn't be qualified to do this thing because I don't have a good complexion to start with. Am I right? Right? And the reason why I persisted despite a lot of challenges because I know the end outcome I can get. Right? Richly, I totally understand, right? If I'm trying to transfer the risk of traditional businessmen to a third party, right? I'm not so stupid. I'll be start to think that can the third party have the ability to absorb the risk? Am I right? So most of the people who fail in MLM or direct selling or network marketing, right? Most people fail on the first thing. You know what is the thing? Right? They talk to you about a comp plan. They draw the circle and circle and circle. They tell you how much money you can make, and you got excited at a big amount of money you can get. But very few people think that. Sit down and think about it. That can the principle, can the platform deliver? Very few. Right? Many will think that, wow, I can make a lot of money. Because while you are making money, someone have to pay, right? Correct or not? Am I right? So most of the time we realize that a lot of people fall prey to investment scheme or money game. Why? Because they are greed. They were actually motivated by greed and seeing that, wow, this one can make a lot of money. They get you to invest 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. And there's no intrinsic, there's no values being produced. You were just tempted by how much potential that the plan show you they can make the money. But can they sustain? No. So I consider 2 points when I partner with New Skin, right? One, scalability. Can I scale my business through the partnership with this platform? Okay. Second one, sustainability. So I'm very rational because when I know about the curve, this curve that I want, in order for me to realize this eventuality, the end outcome, if the company is not around anymore, it's just theory. Am I right? Right? So the company might be strong, financially strong enough, they're able to withstand a lot of traditional business risks. Then they are able to sustain over a long period of time. Remember I told you that, right? All business, you realize that 99% of the business, traditional business will fail. Only 1% will succeed for the first 10 years. Any direct sales company, any MLM companies, by themselves, they are also traditional business. Because they carry stocks. They're in charge of all the cost centers. Am I right? So I need to make sure if my dreams and goal can be achieved, the principle and the platform must be strong. So in the early days, when I first started, I do not talk about New Skin as a direct selling company. I do not talk about New Skin as MLM companies. Yeah. I don't talk about these companies, about product selling skincare product. I never thought of that. I'm already positioned myself that this company is a platform. I'm the partner. And today, as I look back today, when you talk about platform, a lot of people understand. But I'm talking about 25 years ago. When you have the platform thinking and the partners thinking, this is very visionary. 25 years ago, nobody talked about platform. But people talk about company. But today, right, as there are a lot of platform companies around, Grab being one of them. Right? Grab, you realize that many of them, they don't have a fixed pay. I'm not sure Grab driver have fixed pay. I don't have, right? So literally, Grab is a platform. Grab drivers are partners. Right? So today, for the last, I think 5 and 10 years, right, there are a lot of platform companies. But in those years when I first started, I never thought that NewSkin is a direct selling company. I never thought it's an MLM company. I'm just thinking that this is a platform that can help me to absorb all the risks. So I list down all the potential of this platform. First, I think that the most important thing, it must be they have a proven track record. Why is this important? If a sportsman consistently win world championship, the chances for him to win is higher. Am I right? Yes or no? Yes. Right? Even for investment, you look at track record. It's the same thing. If any of no track record suddenly becomes successful, it's called miracle. You know what's miracle? Miracle means that the probability is very low. You don't do any business that go into like expecting miracles. You want to have predictable income. Yes or no? Yes. That's called probability. So when I look into this company, like 17 years old, at that point of time, they were 17 years old, they are in 30 old countries. And of course, you know, I can build a global business which I can scale, and I can transfer all the risks away. So literally, I'm talking about risk transfer. Many people think about making a lot of money, but many people do not understand that risk management is as important as making money. How many of you agree with me? Not many, huh? Because the returns, on the other hand, will be risk. Correct? So managing risk and mitigating risk away is also very important. So when I work with NewSkin, partner with NewSkin, I want to know that they are strong enough to absorb all the cost centers, right, that I couldn't afford to be borne by them. So these are the things they do. You know, first day when I look at this, I say, if I cannot make money in NewSkin, that means I don't think I can become successful elsewhere, because all these cost centers are borne by them. From delivery to logistics to R&D, right, to opening centers, or even for some countries we are going digital, right, but it's heavy investment at the back end on their computer system, right? All this requires a lot of money, but I don't have to pay a single cent. What do? Technically, we only do 2 things that bring in revenue. Okay, what do? Let me share with you, right? 2 things. One is marketing the brand. Right? Probably through product sharing, right? We let them understand that why this brand, right, is safe and effective to use. That's called marketing of brand, right? And also potentially share with them the potential of this business opportunity through working with the brand. This is called marketing. Marketing brings revenue. Right? The other one is sales. 2 components. So if you look at a company, like the cost structure, assets, liabilities, income, and cost itself, right? Some of you are accountants trained, you're probably more familiar with this. So literally, if all the cost centers are actually absorbed by a stronger third party, you cannot fail. Right? You cannot fail. You are literally transfer all the conventional businesses to a principal to absorb. And all you need to do every day, you're thinking that how can I market my brand better, effectively? How can I move the product more effectively? If you are constantly thinking of how you're able to do these 2 things, you become an expert. But if you are a traditional businessman, even though you are a good marketer, you are good salespeople, but you still have to take care of the back end, which is the cost center. So you can be good at this very 2 productive division, at the end you lose money. But this one, you realize that the risk transfer itself, that the third stronger principle, right, they will be able to help us to absorb the risk. Again, if you look at the long term enough, 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, right, I think you need to identify who are the company is able to sustain over a long period of time. So they have the track record, that's why I trust them. The last one, I did mention about sustainability. Okay, sustainability, scalability and sustainability. I believe in innovation. How many of you think that innovation is important? So when I look at some of the companies, sorry to they say they have a better plan, they have a whatever. When I look at the company, they have no innovative products. They're still selling the same old thing for 10, 20, 30 years. You will be losing your competitiveness in the marketplace. Am I right? If you are selling the old analog phones or those old the Motorola one, right? Unless you buy it to keep as an antique. Other than that, you realize that you will be out of business. Am I right? That's how Nokia is gone. Because they don't keep up to the market changes, right? So one thing that I got attracted to this company, even though they started with new skin, like selling skincare today, as you look into the company, we have so many things. I never thought we would have Tiami 90, honestly. I'm just lucky enough to partner with a company that have the R&D team. They constantly innovate themselves to create new product and given me an opportunity to connect with the market. That's how I become successful. Not because how good I am. Right? I'm working as hard as a lot of people, but choosing a partner is extremely important. So this is the DNA, right? This is our founder, Brett Ronnie. Right? Today in the market, you realize that you've seen a lot of our new creative products. So that's how we are able to continue to connect the marketplace and continue to have new. Last time we saw skincare products, only people who are preferring skincare business, our skincare product. Right? Today, with our wellness product, Tiami 90, people want to lose weight, they also come in. So that's how we realize that it can be a long-term business, right? Well, yeah, I think that is enough for the platform I'm talking about.
Yes.
How many of you are confused right now? It's okay you're confused because usually whatever I share, 10 years people didn't realize. Yeah, I'm no joke, because all these things I've shared probably like 25 years ago. And most time you realize that you came in because you love the product, right? You want to slim down. You never look for a business opportunity, or you get exposed to business, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. But if you are here for true, real business, you want to be for long term, you probably can get, some of the tips, some of the light. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I think your clarity on, shall we give Rayne? Yeah. Another big round of applause. That was just mind-blowing. Your clarity on why new skin really shows the power of choosing the right partner. I think we all can attest to that. But it's one thing to start fast, and you mentioned a lot on scale, sustainability. But I think it's another to keep it growing stronger and stronger after decades. So you built this business not just to be global, right, but sustainable. We're going to celebrate 25 years, right, of you being in this industry and still growing strong. So in your opinion, what have you done? What to make it so scalable and so robust till today? And for our new friends, new partners that are about to join us.
I think I'm just like you, right? 25 years ago when I first started, if I decided to do certain things, I need to know that, what are the challenges and the problems. Am I right? For example, one thing when I first started, the barriers I have, I think the same thing like you, the face. What will my friends look at me? Because most of the people will interpret that multi-level business is like illegal, or even some of them think that it's the same as pyramid selling scheme, right? Because no school, they actually educate us. And telling you that, right, this marketing system, what are the merits, what are the demerits, nobody tells us. But in fact, today you realize in some of the school, when 25 years ago in US, right, when you study marketing course, they mention about network marketing also. But it's very little. It's very little. Even professionals also don't understand. Because to them, they understand as just a distribution system, right? To get the end product to the benefits to the end customers. That's all. They don't even know how to build a business. So I was just facing the same challenge as you. The reason why I can counter the challenge, I face a problem, I face a challenge, right? Is this a big problem? I realize it's not. So many times you realize that people misunderstood the business. So if people misunderstood the business, means what? Means what? Means there's a lot of educational work. To me, but most people will interpret that this is not a business for me. Correct? So you realize that your mindset is very important. A consumer mindset and a provider mindset, we think very differently. So as I approach the market, I look at it. There are a lot of people who want to look for opportunity, extra income. But there are a lot of people who want to look good, want to slim down, want to become more beautiful. Yes or no? Right? But when you talk about them, about MLM, I see ghosts like that. Why? Because they have bad experience before. Correct? They cannot be suddenly you talk about these things and see ghosts like that. It cannot be. It must be probably that they hurt people, have bad experience before. Probably that they encountered some experience with that people talk about, wow, how good a product, but at the end you realize that products are not so good. Right? They talk about opportunity is so good, you realize at the end you realize that the company did not deliver. 3 years they closed down already, they bankrupt already. So there are a lot of all this so-called words of mouth. The difficulty about words of mouth is that you do one good thing, right? Sometimes you realize that you don't spread that fast. One bad thing you realize that spread the whole kampong. The whole village, everybody knows already. Because originally we're in the words of mouth marketing. So I was asking myself, because I came from insurance, I roughly understand the history. The early builders of insurance builders, they were also not so highly qualified. Right? They don't have a lot of qualification, and they also can join the insurance industry. But of course, today you realize it's getting tougher, right? You need to have more qualification. So any industry you realize that there's an early adopter stage, right? There'll be a stage where you realize that people are getting more educated. So I was asking myself, right? Very simple. Instead of I'm shying away and giving up the opportunity, why not be I'm the one who educate others to tell what is the difference? So it's more an educational business rather than a sales business. I don't know how many of you understand what I'm saying. So my job literally is just like a pastor. Right? Literally every day I'm just telling that, it's telling people what's the difference over here. But some people see it, some people don't see it. It doesn't really matter. Right? Because until today, you don't embrace all the brands too. Right? Coca-Cola is a very successful company. Not all of us drink Coca-Cola. Am I right? Right? So I asked myself, if I'm decided to do this thing because I see the potential about this platform in the industry, why not I be the one who professionalize the industry? Are you getting me right now? So we do things a little bit different, right? As a result, what you see over here after 25 years, indeed you see a lot of professionals over here. And you'll be amazed to find out a lot of our leaders' background, right? They were, in Malay, they call kucing kurat, right? Sorry, sometimes I speak a bit of Malay. So, it's not just people who are not educated, they were just, I'm not looking at housewife, because now housewife also very atas now. Right? I'm talking about you realize that maybe they have nothing to do, they cannot get a proper job. That's why they come and do this thing. To your surprise, we have so many medical professionals. Right? We have so many professionals why? Because all these people has got needs. So as long as you're able to match their needs, right, and they see the possibility in this platform, they will join you. So the key thing is not about MLM. The key thing is that do you conduct a business in a professional way? Are you getting me right now? Right. Most of the time you realize that we are not being trained. You look at the problems, right? We hit on to the problems. There are two key disadvantages of problems in our business. The first one, literally is at no barriers, very low barriers. In Singapore, if you are 18 years and above, didn't ask for your degree, right? Whether you're primary school education or whether you're handsome, no handsome, right? Whatever, whether you're male or female or mixed, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's so embracing. As long as you realize of legal age of 18 years old, you can join the business really. You tell me any job, any business allows you to do that. I use the word accessibility. Some opportunities are very good. You have no access. Am I right? But again, being low barriers of entry, right? Easy access is also a problem. Because all kinds of people come in. Right? So to me, I take it positively because I was younger then, I don't have capital. I can work very hard. To me, this is an advantage. But I also see the disadvantage. Right? Because a lot of people, you realize that they come in with an attitude that can make a lot of get rich quick, can make a lot of money very fast. They don't have the right mindset. They're not willing to learn. You realize that they're hoping that they grab a few people, they become kaya, become rich. I know on the first day that this is impossible, right? The second thing is that, right, the new people who join, right, they can start immediately. That means you sign up today, you realize that tomorrow you introduce someone, you got commission already. Where God, if you are doctors, how many years you need to study? Can you imagine today that, oh, I want to become a doctor. I sign. Tomorrow you go to you can operate already. You don't trust the doctor, right? But why the reason why that doctors are always on the very high social status? Because they're being trained for a long period of time, right? And after they got a degree, they still need to practice many, many years. But our business model, you join today, you introduce someone, you got commission already. And sometimes you think, wow, you're expert already. It's just that the business model and the plan allows you to have the sharing bonus when you share with people. So I understand totally, if you want to become a professional in the business, there's no way you want to make millions of dollars if you don't have a professional, if you don't conduct in a professional way. Am I right? So we intentionally structured the whole, training system, we call it a proven system, support system. Right? I don't believe that you can just make millions without training. After about 5 years in the business, right, through a lot of hard knocks, this is called University of Hard Knocks, right? After which you realize that, after, groping around, making a lot of mistakes, we try to structure the whole training system. We call it STU, Success Together University. It's not a well-known academic institution, right? Some people say that, where is your STU? Where is this situation? Where is your HQ? Sorry, no. Because a lot of times when people talk about university, they got brainwashed already. Right? University must be a formal institution, right? Must be what? Who tell you the institution? What is the objective of university? It's not just need a formal institution, right? It's for you to learn, right? And if hopefully you realize that when you are able to graduate from a school, you're capable enough to survive in a society and make a living. That should be a good university, am I right? But unfortunately, today there are a lot of university graduates come out, they cannot find a job. Because some of the university courses are not relevant anymore. The world has changed so fast, but our education is lagging behind. And sometimes you realize that many governments, they are not fast enough to react also. They do not change. It's bureaucratic system. They do not change. Right? So what we did over here, right from people who have no entrepreneurship spirit, mindset, we started from business school for entrepreneurs. Something that's very relevant, but we don't engage university professors. Some of you, when you attend some of our courses, you are expecting that, wow, this guy must speak very well, good English. But sometimes we jump out a little bit English, jump out a little bit of Hokkien and Cantonese. Right? But that doesn't mean that we are not professional. We were just human beings. We are actually practitioners who have creating success results. Then we come back to the school and teach. And these are the people who are not teaching about theories. Right? They are actually active in the market. So if you ask me about last 25 years, I would say that, for many people they know, some of you they know about MLM, usually they got excited at the beginning. 3 years, they're gone already. Right? We are operating this thing for 25 years, and all you see over here is just Singapore. If it's not sustainable, cannot be 25 years, my friend. Right? So in any business, if they are able to be sustainable for a long period of time, they must have a formula. There must be a know-how. It's just that you don't know. Or you are learning, you are not learning from the right people. University professor, sorry, if there's any university professor over here, I don't want to offend you. University professor, you realize that they can teach business studies, they can teach business administration, but they probably never do business before. Right? They can teach you about theory. But in doing business, you need tenacity, you need resilience. And this kind of thing is not taught in your marketing course, in your business studies. Am I right? Right? There are a lot of things you realize that sometimes our confidence coming from the people who have done it before. Yes or no? Yeah. So many times you realize the reason why we have such a strong support system, when people come in, you realize that people have very ordinary background, they can make it. People, you realize that, they are so capable, they got good background, they also can make it. They give a lot of confidence for them to be able to move forward. So I believe that, the way we built a business over the last 25 years, right? Not only that we can duplicate over here, we can duplicate every part of the world, which we have proved it, right, in many countries. Yep.
Wow, very inspiring. Shall we give Rayne yet another round of applause? I think it's interesting how you identify yourself as a pastor. Because it's true. And you know, there's this saying, right? Oh, the pastors always like to say,
Sorry, I'm the ambassador. I'm not pastor.
yeah, but you know what they always like to say? Oh, practice what you preach, practice what you preach. But you know what really made me respect him and all the practitioners in STU? They preach what they practice. Yeah, they are all practitioners that have already walked the route ahead of us. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, you have shown us is sustainable. And I think everyone here is also thinking especially about their own future, right? Since they are here, not just what they can do today, but also where this opportunity platform can bring them. So looking ahead, I know you're very visionary. Everybody recognizes you as our Warren Buffett of our industry. So I think, you know, I have to be here to really ask you, you know, what excites you, you know, about the future potential of our opportunity platform. And for those who are here, you all may wonder, you know, I mean, Rayne mentioned a lot about, 25 years in industry, 25 years in industry. So maybe the question that they have in their heads is this the market? Will the market ever be saturated? And then how will you address that?
Well, I think that's a good question, because a lot of people think that, you know, in a multi-level marketing business, you need to be at the top, right? Every industry also need to be top. Even if you are a civil servant, right? The top makes the most money, correct? The prime minister makes the most money, right? If you are a sportsman, you are a bottom sportsman, you don't make a lot of money. Any industry, if you are top, you make money. But doesn't mean that you join first, you make a lot of money. That is not fair, right? If you join first, you make a lot of money, you realize that the newer people on board, you realize there's no more opportunity, right? Let me share with you why I say that saturation is a myth. It's the same thing, right? Of course, we are providing products. We're providing 3 products, right? We put the potential of the business, right? Literally, I'll say that 3 things, right? The well-being. Today, 5 years and 10 years down the road, will people want to become better? Yes or no? Yes. Whether be it wealth or wellness, become healthier, to look good. Yes or no? As long as there are constant, everlasting demand of good quality products and great opportunity to make extra income or even building a legacy, the platform will always be around. Agree? Are you telling me that today you realize that there will be people that do not want to look good? Because the money you make is coming from the real consumption. The money you make is not because you are building a lot of multi-level. Are you getting me right now? Multi-level is how you get paid. Some people say, this system is not sustainable because people at the top make a lot of money, people at the bottom don't make a lot of money. What are you talking about? You tell me any structure that people on top don't make money, people at the bottom make a lot of money, what? You tell me? Because by itself, it's not stable in any organization. Am I right? There's nothing wrong with the people at the top make money, provided that they produce. Agree? And that is called fair. Right? So saturation is always a myth. Why? Let me share with you about the innovation. Nokia used to be great, right? In the handphone industry. Where are they right now? So you can build a big organization, but if you do not have innovative product, innovation, you may not be great in the future. So I feel that, by partnering with New Skin, we will always everlasting demand because of the innovation. This is one of the technology we're going to launch in November. And for some of you probably know already, right? It's seen as Prism, right? The name is Prism. I got a sample over here, but that is just a sample. Yep. You see this, you can put this in the pocket. So what does it work? How does it work? We treat it in 15 seconds, right? You can measure your antioxidants level. For those of you who use Samsung, any one of you use Samsung watch? The latest edition of Samsung watch started to have, you can measure antioxidant index. Yeah. right? So many people may not understand what is antioxidants all about. Right? I mean, you can do a search, right? Many of you understand. Meaning that in the future, right, antioxidant score has become a very important health score. But you know, we started doing this in 2003. Right? This is the latest model. It used to be very big machine. Now it's developed into like you can put even in your pocket. So do you think that this is revolution? I would say this is wellness revolution. Right? I've seen quite a few Indians are here, right? Anyway, you should be proud because the real invention coming from your ancestor, literally, right? By Sir C.V. Raman. The first Nobel Prize winner in India, right, in 1930, if I'm not wrong, Sir C.V. Raman. I mean, you can Google him, right? Based on his Raman spectroscopy theory, we developed this in 2003. So, can you imagine that if we can get people to scan, like in 15 seconds, you know your score? To prove that whether your supplement work? It's going to be very scary. Yes or no? Do you agree that there will be more people taking supplements? Yes or no? Because today, people are asking me, right? 25 years ago, when I do about this business, actually the awareness of health is not high. People are not spending a lot of money. Some people always say that, you are lucky you joined early. You don't know me. How you know it's lucky? Because I face more problems. I only got skincare product to sell. You know about skincare, right? One soap, last time we sell body bar, 6 months also haven't finished. Some more $20, $40, $30, $20, $30. You know, like in any business revenue, $20, $30, how much money you can make. You know how tough now? Today you realize that you have so many range of product, right? Which you can connect with the customers. You can convert to revenue immediately. Amazing. So sometimes you realize that timing is so important, right? So any brand you realize that it takes time for it to gain traction in the development. I show you, right? I experienced it in the, I test for myself.
Just 15 seconds, right?
Yes, 15 seconds to check your score.
And change your life.
To change your life, yes.
Exactly.
Let's see what your score comes out.
Oh, 95.
So good. Let me see that. Yes, it's right at the very top end. Great job.
In November, or anyway, I think we have a beta version coming this end of September for some of the leaders who will get it. You will need to get yourself to scan. Yeah, it's going to be very powerful. So if you ask me, right, with this latest technology, it's a totally new opportunity. Some people say that, but saturated, a lot of people heard about new skin. I say, heard about what? If you heard about new skin, it's normal. What? We are famous brand. What? You heard about BMW? You heard about Mercedes? You heard about Coca-Cola? Yeah. You heard about new skin is normal. But have you ever made money from Coca-Cola? Have you ever made money from BMW? Have you ever made money from Mercedes-Benz? You heard the brand is normal because we are popular.
That's right.
But the question you need to ask yourself, right? So sometimes you realize that, see, being a professional is very important. Sometimes people think that, people tell you, I know about this skill. Many times I ask, what do you know? Some people tell you, I know Rayne Ho. This joke lah. But anyway, right, they got turned off and scared off. Like people say, oh, I know about this skin. Actually, they don't lah. They only know the brand only. Right? You got scared off when people telling that you know about new skin. Cannot be lah. I'm in the business for 25 years. I also don't know. 1 year ago, I don't know this will come out. When I first started, I don't know TRB90 will launch also. I don't know that TRB90 will at least, make up to about 70% or 80% of my income right now. How I know? I don't know. But because I'm partnering with the innovative company, we have a lot of opportunity. Is there a saturation issue? Never. Right? Global. You are starting from Singapore. 6 million population, right? Sometimes being in Singapore will be quite narrow because we see the 6 million, so a lot of people. Until you go to India. You go to China, then you will know how big the population, right? Because sometimes our horizon is not very big. We're talking about 6 million. If you are offering us global business opportunity, how can you get ever saturated? It will never be. In fact, you realize that there are a lot of countries that they've opened earlier. Those countries that opened earlier means that we get a passport to build our business. Just like Singapore passport, very useful. Right? No need visa. Some of the business you realize that there's restricted. Like some passport restricted, you need to apply for visa, sometimes you got rejected. But this business you realize that how can you be ever saturated? You think that Singapore not enough, you got bigger appetite, you go India lah. Right? If you think that India is too far, China too far, you go Malaysia. No? So big. And the best thing is that why I'm talking about global connectivity, like something I just want to share with you when I first started 20 years ago. The communication tool is very outdated as we look at it today. I still remember that when I first started the business, we don't have WhatsApp, we don't have WeChat, we don't have social media. Correct? And many times we need to make call. Right? Or fixed lines or, like the time already we have handphone already. But if you are as old as me, young generation don't understand. Those years, when you send an SMS to overseas, like you send to China, 60 cents. Wow, you send, how are you? Then reply, yes. Wow, 60 cents already. So you better write very long, very long, very long. But there's also a limited number of words you can use. Number of letters. Then cannot already, second already. Another 60 cents. Walao, how costly to build a business. Right? Some more you realize that you cannot send picture one. Now social media, all pattern you can. Right? WhatsApp free. WeChat free. Telegram free. So if you look into it today, right, the people who start on this business based on the current environment, their connectivity, the tools they are getting so advanced. Because our business is all about connectivity. If you are able to connect with more people's needs, right, naturally you can build a business even faster. So there's so many opportunities. Unfortunately, I'm old already. Right? Actually, if you are aggressive today, you realize that, you can even build a business even faster than me. Right? The last one. If you think that all this existing market, right, people already do already, right? We have a new market coming up in November in India. India, I don't need to say lah. Right? Big. It will even get bigger because no birth control. Right? Last time China used to be the biggest. Then they're going to introduce one-child policy. So now they regret. Because now China belongs to one of the aging population. So they have another problem right now because aging population. Right? But too late already because they introduced one-child policies like 20, 30 years ago. But now India, no control. No. You better go before they got control. You know about compounding, right? If only one, they got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20. So now India overtake China. Next 20 years, largely more exponential growth. But if you look at India itself, now we talk about 1.4 billion population, but the demographic, the profile is very interesting. 65% of the population are under 35 years old. Right? Median age is 28. In terms of this kind of country structure, the profile, young, right? Young tend to be more productive. Agree? Right? They have more energy to create, to produce. So this kind of country, you will never know how you can imagine that they will be able to grow for the next 20 years. If you are just ordinary people, whether you are Chinese or Indian, right? If you are staying in Singapore, you may not go back to India anymore. Some of the Indians I talk to stay in Singapore, become Singaporeans. What I mean become Singaporeans, they are so comfortable. You know Singaporeans are very comfortable one? Right, very comfortable. Go back India. Do what lah? I don't want to go back lah, right? Because they are looking into it, it's just going back. But if you are looking into the opportunity potential, there's a huge opportunity. I'm not talking about after I talk today, tomorrow you buy a ticket, go to India. Sometimes I don't need to talk too excited. People get excited too easily. Tomorrow they buy a ticket, straight away they fight, then they don't know what to do. Right? I'm talking about opportunity of a long-term opportunity you can visualize. Right? If you started to visualize, you realize that the potential of by next year probably now it's 1.46 billion. By 5 years later, they're probably 1.5. Right? You know, like you throw one stone, you hit someone, right? So it's a lot of potential. If we could do so successfully in Singapore, can you imagine there are a lot of countries are bigger than us, right? So that is all the long-term opportunity. At least I'll say for the next decade, for the next 10 years, is big enough. Okay.
Wow, thank you
any
so
other
much.
questions that you want?
Definitely. I think thank you for helping us to see, really see why timing is so relevant right now, right? It's really about now, and I think finally, I'm sure everyone is hot on their seat already. Hopefully, y'all didn't buy your ticket to India on your phones, right? But I think let's bring it down to the practical, and I believe there are many people, hot on their seats, ready to take the next step. So for those tonight, I believe many opportunity seekers we have with us tonight. What simple steps do you think they should take now? And do you have any tips for those that wants to go fast?
Okay, I like to go fast. How many of you want to like to go fast? Right? If success can be fast, why slow, right? Especially if you realize that time is running out. But anyway, I think, I forgot to touch about this thing because I think that this is so very relevant regarding the saturation issues, right? For many people, they look into new skin as the MLM or direct selling or TMIT or skincare or health product, right? Whatever you understand is all correct. It's all correct. But literally, from product to the business model, what we serve is to improve three things, which many platforms don't allow us to do that, right? Which is the first one, livelihood. That means that for people who came in like me in the early stage for survival, right, make enough income, right, to survive. The second are good people, they want to improve their lifestyle. That means they want to upgrade their house, right, to have a better lifestyle for themselves and for the family. The last one is legacy. So a legacy is something that's very sustainable. I want to tell you some story before I move on to how to get started. Right, basically, you talk about a lot of platform, a lot of employment, right? You don't get to build the legacy. If you're asked to go one day, the next day you cannot go to office anymore. You can't even go back and take a pencil or pen. One piece of paper also cannot take. Right? Everything will just tell you, okay, tomorrow you cannot come anymore. This is a cruel world, right? In employment, in corporate, it's the same thing. But over here, right, when I first started, I hear a lot of stories that I think is very inspiring, and I want to share with you. Because I don't know who you are, because you may be at a point of time you realize you are looking for a livelihood for survival. You may be at a point of time right now you realize you're looking to improve your lifestyle. Right? But for some of you realize that you're already very established. You got good, decent income. You got good assets, right? You have a lot of property. You're very comfortable. You could be looking for something that you can build, right, for legacy. So when I first started, I heard about this lady, right? If you've seen this lady called Betty Song. She's the first Chinese who started Nu Skin way back in US. I will say that it's very courageous because the point of time Nu Skin is only 4 years old. People also do not know that whether they can survive. But she has got a vision. She started. So the one beside her is a son. You can see that during graduation. Right? Betty Song a few years ago passed on. She's not around anymore. But what is interesting is that whatever she built over the years is being inherited by the son. Meaning that the son continued to draw income, right, from the same account that the mom worked for many years, and they continue to receive from it. This is what I mean by asset income. But for many of the jobs, you realize that this is impossible. If you are a GM of a company, you work for a company from scratch, right, to build to a regional business. One day, your son grown up. After they graduate, you tell your boss, come. Right? I worked for you for 30 years. I built from Singapore small office to become a regional office. Right? I helped you to expand so many markets. My son now 24 years old, graduate already, top student. Can I pass my GM position to my son? Can or not? Unless you're the owner, right? If not, you're not possible. It'd be possible. So you could be accumulating a lot of experiences, right? Contribute a lot for like 30 or even 40 years. But you're not building asset. But when I saw about this business, why is this can be a long term and why, especially this asset base attracted a lot of good quality people. Because anyway, for these people, you realize that, right, they are able to consume. As long as the products are good quality, right, they will use as a user. But at the same time, why not they build a business? This is my recent stories, right, which is something very close to me. This lady was from Shenzhen, is in my group, myself, right? She was a property agent. When I started way back about 20 years ago, the girl beside her is a girl, it's not a boy. So some of them, because both of them are very good looking. So you can see that the younger version, right, the daughter. So in fact, the mom passed away, and she was still in high school, in the uni. And single family, right, single family, and only one kid. China is only one kid. Whichly you realize that under this situation, if the mom work for any platform or any job, that's it for the kid protection. No future. But because the mom has the vision, right, even though when we started in China, it's so challenging, she saw the potential of this long-term business, she built it up, right? And the daughter, right, with the daughter, that one is a daughter, continue to inherit this business and pull through her university. And today, of course, she's married. They're happily married and they're able to continue to enjoy the fruits that the mom labored many, many years ago. So you can ask one question for yourself, whatever you do, right? Could this be possible for the long term, 5 and 10 years down the road? It's almost impossible, right? It's almost impossible. So that is something that we talk about legacy. You know, this could be a very good legacy planning, right? Without contributing a lot of money, but you're just spending your time and sharing the network around you, right? So it goes back to the question about how do you get started. I will say the simple way. I think that I'm 25 years in the business. I'm very skillful in the business. Maybe you got threatened, some of you, I cannot talk like you. Right? You think that, wow, you know, you can talk like that. Of course, everybody talk like that. Right? Of course, you know how to talk, right? But I think the simple way for you to get started, the easiest for you to attract is to start with the product. Because I don't know about you. If the product is no good, no matter how good the business, I tell you, will you do it? If the product is no good, do you think it's sustainable? No. So definitely you realize that, right, if you started using the product, right, especially our TRME 90, it started to have visible transformation that you're able to attract. But sometimes it's difficult for you to talk to people about the business. But it's easy. So usually I tell people that the first thing you need to do, right, like any business, you don't go and get an old shop and renovate, you renovate yourself. Top to the toe. It's funny, some of the business people, they spend 300,000 renovate the shop, but the whole life they never renovate themselves.
Yeah, true.
Don't laugh. Right, don't laugh. When talk about business, a lot of men, wow, got business opportunity, you know, wow, got business opportunity, wow, yeah, go, how, invest how much? Wow, this or this. Wow, I spend 100,000, renovate, very nice. But you look at him, oh, haggard, stressful. Hey, which one more important? I mean, you do a reflection. Sometimes some people, you realize that, wow, the car, they polish very nice. Buy the best car. You know, this is the best car, you know.
Yes.
If this car cannot function anymore, all the BMW, your whatever car, cannot work anymore. But how many people are actually taking care of this car? When people tell about, oh, this taking supplement, you say, no need to take lah. You know, now the vegetable you take, the fruits you take, the nutrition is already different compared to last time 20, 30 years ago.
Yep.
Because of pollution. You understand what I'm saying? Right? So a lot of times you realize that it's not about magic. If it goes back to something that's very fundamental and reflect, actually, the business is very simple. When you start transforming yourself, right, first thing I think most important, be confident of the product. If the product is not working, I don't think you want to do the business because we only share the best thing for people around us. Am I right?
Yes.
Right? Keep it very simple, right? It's not a selling business, it's a sharing business. You know what's sharing business? You know what? When you watch a good movie, right? Wow, nice. You know, will you share with people? Yes. I don't share people. Let me happy by myself. Right? I hope happy. Right? No, don't want to tell people how good is it. You go to a restaurant is very nice. You say, wow, this food nice. I don't tell people. I just keep quiet. So if you are selfish people, you're not suitable for this business. Right? If you have someone that used the product, right, you think you just want to pay it forward and share passionately, right? This is probably the easiest way for you to build a business. The fundamental of this business is sharing the good experience with other people. That's one thing, right? The easiest to get started. The second thing, if you want to go fast, right? I heard Clinton, right? Go fast. Because some of you are really want to go fast, right? You need to learn. Agree? If you want to be a doctor, how many years you need to train? Many years lah. Then you come in next day, you want to become a millionaire. Cannot be lah. Right? So intention to learn is very important. But the best thing in this industry or in this platform or in SD environment is that people are willing to teach you.
Yes.
In the outside world, nobody will teach you one lah. Right? If I'm expert in certain things, I teach you, you become my competitor. Correct? Right? Everything I hide here, you know? Sometimes, I know some of you actually join our business for, you used to do traditional business. Sometimes you come in the environment, you find it's just too good to be true. But it's true. You know why? Very simple. I'm not bullshitting you. Plan-induced behavior, right? A group of people of same behavior become a culture. Why am I saying this? Very simple. In this business, if you are not helping enough people to gain health and beauty, you cannot do well. You don't have customers. If you're not helping your partners to make money, you cannot do well. Am I right? You cannot be just recruiting someone you want to expect them to create magic for you and they can do very well. It's impossible. Right? They need to be trained, they need to be mentored. But when you train and mentor for a period of time, they can graduate and they become an independent, so-called business owners. You get what I'm saying? So intentional to learn is very important. The next most important thing is that if you are intentional but nobody want to teach you, it's very difficult. That is why I say that the success in this business is so much easier compared to the outside world. Outside, they will just hide here, don't tell you the best thing. Sometimes they make you go one round, purposely. This one, no way one. Tonight, whatever I share with you is all coming from my experience. Because there is no incentive for me to teach you the wrong things. It's not to my best benefit. Am I right? So I definitely can only give you the best thing. I want you to imagine, right? When you're in this kind of plan and this kind of environment for a long period of time, will your character change?
Yes.
Every day, if you're doing traditional business, you're a very guarded one. Wow, this one see like, want to take my money, want to rob my money, want to all these things. Ayo, if you live like that, how can you be happy? You have a lot of money, you're so scared, Right? But in this environment, you realize every day you wake up, you think of who are the people you can help. I see this one a little bit fat. This one, need help, now need our program, right? And you think that, this guy, wow, I need extra opportunity because the family is struggling, right? If they can able to make extra income, you probably can help them to improve their lifestyle. Every day, you're thinking that who are the people you can help. I tell you, 5, 10 years, 20 years later, you become a different person. I have traditional businessmen in China that commented, interestingly. He said, last time I do business, I very sharp one. It's like I bring a palanto, the parang, right. I go in, I cop. After I do this business, my heart becomes soft. Then she think, of course she's happy. She said, it's like a problem, It's like a problem because we get used to the kind of tough environment, right? You go out, you are sparring already. But today you're going to think that you're going to help people. The heart being strengthened, right? So this is something that I never thought before, honestly. Never thought before. As a young startup at 28 years old, when I get started, I just want to make money. Whatever I show you in terms of even the transformation through the product, It's a byproduct. It's the extra. Until today, you realize that being in this environment, I feel very safe. I don't know about you, right? In the outside world, you realize that there is a lot of, fighting, right? The kind of energy is not very good. So this is one of the key reasons why the people always ask me, why are you still working? I thought you're financially free already. I don't know whether at the back of your mind you're thinking about this thing. Right? Why am I so? Because I find that at this moment of time, if the fact that there's a lot of people are still working, they don't know this road, this option, and I've already achieved what I want, and I'm not paying forward, I'm not doing a good favor. I just keep quiet and keep quiet. No, this is good. I don't want to tell people. Do you agree with me that there are a lot of people in need of this kind of opportunity? Yes. Everywhere. So, as in today, right? Why I'm willing to share with so many of people. In fact, everywhere I go, I also share. I just feel that, right? There are a lot of people that are able to benefit from opportunity and the product. So I hope my sharing for tonight can at least, right? At least my every time my sharing is I only have one objective. Only one objective, right? After you get out of this room, at least, right, you change the perception about this business model. Yes. If you do or don't do the business, it's not so important for me. Because I understand totally this is the words of mouth marketing. When you get out of this room and people tell you about MLM or New Skin, right, I just hope that you can say some positive words and telling them that, actually, I met a group of professional people that they conduct a business in a very different way, very professional, right, and do very well. If you can help us to do this, it's good enough. Right, but of course, right, if you want to try our product to transform, that's even better. Right, but if you want to do the business, right, don't worry, right, we're here to support you. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. Really, really, really awesome. I think this legend, this mentor, this friend deserves yet another round of applause, right? Yes, really thank him. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Advertisement time.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that some of you after tonight, right, you probably have different perspective. But I do want to invite you, because today is like only I talk. Sometimes you think that I can talk very well, right? It's not fair. So in fact, I wanted to invite you to our convention, right, next month in KL. Today we are actually have this kind of event in just Singaporeans are attending. I want you to attend this. This is a global convention, so you see people from different countries. Whatever I shared earlier on, right? If you are able to attend the convention and you witness for yourself, right? Who are the people involved in the industry? Get a sense. Sometimes you realize the vibes. We want to know whether we can integrate into the environment. It's important. It's not just about making money, right? You want to know that who are we associated with. So if tonight you see something about this, right? You hear something, you're not sure. Normal. Right, normal. If you are those that, this one must do, sure can do, you are extraordinary. But most people, you realize that we are not so firm. Right? I just want to invite you for this convention, which is just a month, another month, right? And very near, it's just in KL in Malaysia, right? See it for yourself. Right? Don't just listen to me. Your parents, they tell you that when you are young, don't listen to stranger. For those of you who came in the first time, right? I'm just a stranger to you. So don't trust me totally. Right? So go and visit for thousands of people and different kind of people, different background. You go and see for yourself visually. Right? If you got eyes open big. Right? See for yourself. Right? Then you go and listen. Some of you are audio, some of you are visual. Everybody is different. Right? Audio, you go and listen for yourself from the sharing and different background. And the most important thing, everyone always got feel. You put yourself in the environment, you realize you feel for yourself if this is right fit for you. Rather than you go back home, you feel very excited, you ask your mother, hey, mother, today I go and listen to this one, can do. Because so excited. Your mother so, sige na. Why? I groom you, right? University graduate, you come and do this thing. Auntie also can do. Or you ask your parents, your father, right? Sometimes you realize that in life, right, a lot of people, they are not wise to seek opinion and advice from the right people. Your mother, your parents, sorry lah, can be successful or whatever career, but they've never been successful in this kind of business platform before. You know what I'm saying? So if you hear something about it, I would advise you spend just 3 days. Some say, 3 days. If 3 days can settle 3 generations, that's
right.
Right? Why not? Right? After you realize that you experience, you think this is not something for you, right? You just tell your friends, you tell them, sorry, this is not for me. I think it's a good fit for me. Okay, we are gentlemen. But at least you realize that I'm doing you a favor to let you see the whole picture. If not, you only listen to Rayne before 2 hours, right? Probably there's not enough input. So it's just a month away, right? In this coming convention, I hope to see every one of you over there. Yeah, that's my sharing for today.
Fantastic. Let's really thank Rayne once again for his time. We are all inner circles now. And I'll see you guys in our October convention celebrating our amazing Golden Jubilee with our amazing Success Together founder, Rayne. So let's give him yet another round of applause and thank him for this time tonight. Thank you so much, Rayne. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, that was really a very inspiring session, right? Can we really give our Mr. Rayne Circle of Excellence for Mr. Rayne and Executive Brand Director Mr. Clinton another bigger round of applause, please? I know all of you, each